I have been talking to people who have inspired me, and I started with Susan Coyne, and at the end of that interview, she said that I should talk to Paula Wing, who I'd never met before, and what a perfect last name for that woman. She's just light and lovely and so inspirational, and the thing that I took away from my conversation with her was one of the words that she used to describe herself was ready. And I just love that, like just be ready. Ready or not, here I come. And that's just kind of the vibe that I felt that she has for life. So at the end of that conversation, I asked her, who has inspired you? And she said that I needed to talk to this next person who I have never met. I don't know who it is, but what I do know is that she's a quiet thinker. She's an actress and a writer, and she knows how to make things happen. So I'm very excited to talk to this quiet, lovely thinker. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is. Hey, I'm Kate.
CHIAMAKA.
CHIAMAKA. It just makes me happy already saying it. Paula, the lovely Paula.
I love Paula, yeah. She's a huge mentor of mine. She's been for a very, very long time, actually.
Awesome. How did you two meet?
I met actually years ago. I think I was 15 or so at the time. She led a lot of the education programs at Soul Pepper, and that's where I first met her.
So you went to Soul Pepper.
Yeah.
Did you have to audition to get into that?
There was an application process of sorts.
Right.
Like there was like a variety of things you had to do, explain why you wanted this, show a bit of yourself in terms of creativity. I ended up, the first program I did with Paula was the March Break Intensive, and then I did their summer youth mentorship program.
As what? As a writer, as an actor, as a
participant, which
everything
often with Paula meant everything.
No, it's
it often
perfect.
did. So, which is how I actually got started directing and writing and all of that. It was just through this program where it was very, very ensemble based and very we just do all the things.
Right, and what are you trying right now?
Right now I'm trying, producing. I'm doing the Generators Artist Producer Training Program right now. And one thing that's been really interesting about that process, coming in, I didn't really consider myself a producer with a P and an ER at the end. I was more just interested in the practice of producing, whatever that meant.
Right,
and
right.
I found in this process that I actually have to at least for me, I have to actually call myself a producer in order to do those things. This program particularly they have targeted especially, but not only, for women, for youth, and for people of color. And in this inaugural phase, all four of the directors check pretty much all those boxes.
Right.
And I think that's especially important when we're talking about embracing risk and embracing failure, because I feel especially that these are groups that are not allowed to fail. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
One person, Barack Obama, can't show a stitch of emotion, yet Donald Trump can do all the things, and are still given and not necessarily given the same opportunities to fail.
So what do you think makes a good director? What skills does a director need to have?
A good director is I think ultimately someone who can listen very well. I think I'm still a growing director. One thing I'm learning is that I think at first, I thought directing was someone who can give orders well. And
I met him. I met her. Yeah.
And as slowly as I'm I guess growing as a director, I'm finding it's quite the opposite. It's the person I find the best directors I've ever worked with are people who listen the closest and people who have the greatest sensitivity in the room.
What keeps you inspired to write?
That's a good question. I took a writing class once with a teacher who's of the opinion that, and I think I agree that it's less about inspiration, more about a muscle. And so it's just going to the gym, for example. I'm not always inspired to go to the gym, but I go every day, and so it's a muscle that you write every day, and eventually the inspiration comes. It's like any practice. I love stories about women who are leaders and what that costs to be a woman who is fierce and strong in this world, and what that means, especially for Black women. The cost of being a feminist today, the cost of being, being the dream of our mothers. You know, what is the cost of that?
Do you have a job? Like, are you doing, besides all the other stuff?
Yep.
Uh-huh, what is it?
I work at Starbucks.
How long have you been there?
Not long. I've been there for about under a year. One thing I really enjoy about working there is like making the drinks and like both the specificity of that, you know, all the measurements and whatever, but also the ease of that. Like once you're in the habit of that, it's just easy. You can have a conversation while you're doing it, and but still at the same time, really, really holding on to trying to make sure that's the best drink that you're sending out. And I think that definitely speaks volumes in terms of like craft as an artist, and in terms of taking the time to do something consistently to the point that it's just fluff, and then you're just sharing what you made. And that's sort of the next step for me, just continually sharing what I made instead of just keeping it to myself. Imagine making all these drinks and then just keeping them to yourself. Crazy.
All right, so I'm going to ask you questions, and today you'd answer like this, tomorrow you might answer completely different.
Okay.
Okay, so just kind of the first thing that comes to your head, okay? So number one, can you name 5 plays?
5 plays: Hedda Gabler, Christmas Carol, Riot, Mom, Dad, I'm Living with a White Girl, The Enchanted Loom.
Very nice. Perfect pizza.
Perfect pizza, no sauce, light cheese, spinach, olive oil, a little bit of oregano.
If you could be any age for a week,
8.
what cheers you up?
Spicy drinks with rum. That's my cheer up.
I'm already cheered up. Morning or night?
Morning.
Favorite breakfast food?
Eggs with some type of meat.
If you could bring any person back to life?
I would bring my grandmother.
Ever been fired?
Yes.
Best decision you've ever made?
To commit to a life in the arts, I guess. Yeah.
Favorite junk food?
Chips.
What kind?
Regular.
Just regular. Ruffles? Just regular. Lay's?
Preferably Ruffles. Yeah. I like those riches.
Animal that scares you?
Raccoons.
Best thing about living in Toronto?
Pedestrian lifestyle, walking around.
Who would you like to do a love scene with?
Ooh. It's a really good question. I don't know. Guess my mother? Not like a sexual love scene, but just like a heart to heart. Yeah. That's the first bit.
I love it. I love that. Favorite app?
Favorite app, the Rocket Man, to tell where the TTC is coming. That's a good app.
Yeah. 03033. I have mine memorized. All right. First job?
First job, cashier at Lick's Home Burgers.
Worst habit?
Worst habit, eating late at night.
Favorite game as a child?
Monopoly.
What inspires you?
People who really try. Yeah.
And 3 words to describe yourself?
Ambitious. Open and loving.
Ambitious, open, and loving. I love that. So don't tell me the name, but who should I talk to next?
Okay, so next is another artist that I've worked with in a directing capacity, but he is a director, he is a playwright, he is a producer. One thing I'm really inspired about him is that he is continually sharing his work. He's not waiting for things to be perfect or whatever, he's just sharing them. I'm really inspired about just that input and output as an artist for him, so yeah.
Great, I look forward to it. All right, thank you very much. Awesome.